Today on Aging Untold, we explore chronic inflammation and its connection to many age-related problems.
I always tell people there's really only one disease, and that's chronic inflammation.
We'll share small daily changes that can help you feel clearer, stronger, and better. Plus, a shoe-in for better balance.
You can either have pain or change the shoes you're wearing.
We've got quick tips to find the best shoe fit, look great, and keep your footing. Then, it's promoted as the answer to better sleep.
Your body should be getting ready for sleep. That's what melatonin does.
We'll break down when this popular sleep aid can help, when it can backfire, and what to try instead. Experts with advice and solutions. You're watching Aging Untold with Aging Well Coach Catherine Ambrose, gerontologist Sam Craddock, aging expert Amy O'Rourke, and board-certified physician Dr. Ray Rogers. We're all getting older. It's about time we talked about it.
Welcome to Aging Untold. Inflammation is a common culprit behind fatigues, aches, and many long-term health issues. For millions of adults, these symptoms are part of daily life, and it can be difficult to know what's normal or what's a warning sign. Dr. Ray, can you explain the difference between healthy short-term inflammation and the chronic kind that can affect us over time?
Well, short-term inflammation is just your body's natural defense system. You know, that's good. That's a good thing. And when it's short-term, you know, you get sick, immune cells come in, they heal you, they protect you, and that's the story. You know, so that's healthy inflammation. You come in, you turn it on, you do your job, and you turn it off. Chronic inflammation is a little bit different. So that's like this alarm system that never turns off, and that's where the problem comes in. So over time, you start to damage tissues, and then that's what you see is linked to different diseases, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancers, cognitive decline. What you want to do is have it do its job and have it turn off when it's supposed to.
Right. I think a lot of people think when they hear the word inflammation, they think of that sprained joint that swells up. And they don't think of anything else. They don't think of, okay, do you have inflammation in your hands or in your other joints or maybe even in your cardiovascular system? I think everybody just thinks of that, I sprained my ankle and it's swollen, I'm going to ice it, and that's it. And inflammation is so
healthy.
much,
That's healthy.
That's healthy inflammation. Yeah. That's the immune system doing exactly what it needs to do to help heal that injury. But it goes further than that, and that's where people miss out, is where the inflammation is that you don't see like that.
Right, because you have to find out where it's coming from. Anytime you have chronic inflammation, it'll turn on you. It's a traitor. It'll turn on you.
Yeah.
Are there diseases that aren't caused by inflammation? I know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that is the root cause of most diseases.
So if
you
I'm not
go backtrack-
swollen, so I'm thinking I'm healthy, and I think, healthy people get sick. So I'm healthy and I'm in good shape and I'm not swollen. What else would I be looking for?
So you may not have any of those symptoms. You don't have to have swelling to be inflamed. You have to have systemic disease. So sometimes you can have some inflammatory markers that show up in labs. The labs will show up and tell what's going on with your body before the outward signs come in. So that's why you want to be proactive.
Okay.
And
so
but
getting
a lot of
labs done on a routine
There's
basis
certain labs that you can look at that can tell you. Or if you start to see systems that are starting to fail, high blood pressure.
Okay.
That's the endothelial cells are getting hit. So that's some type of an inflammation. The cells are getting hit, and now the heart is starting to have to work harder.
Got it.
Right.
But there's a lot of lab tests that maybe aren't, people are told, oh, you're in the normal range. And so...
Yeah, but normal and optimal are not the same. And so you have to remember that normal is just a stat. They're taking a stat of people in the area. A lot of times it's 80-year-olds. That's the norm. It's a bell curve. But optimal is that lab level that makes you look good, feel good, and function well. I always tell people you want to do it like a car, the tank, the gas tank. I want to catch it when the red light comes on. I don't want to keep driving and run out of gas.
You mentioned autoimmune diseases. I have lupus, and I have dealt with the chronic inflammation. Now, there's a chronic pain that comes with inflammation. And so people need to recognize that that's part of what it is. And then how do you control it becomes the next question.
Well, how about be proactive? I think a lot of people don't realize what you can do to be proactive, not to even get to that alarm system staying on. So the foundations, there's some things that are inflammatory, like your processed foods, your seed oils. Those are inflammatory things that contribute to systemic inflammation. Good sleep. When you don't sleep well, that keeps inflammation going on. You know, so movement is key. So good movement, blood flow, and all that. All of these are different things that are. It basically comes down to the same foundation we keep talking about.
Yep. And belly fat could be
Belly
an
fat is
indication.
inflammatory.
Belly
So
fat is inflammatory.
that's inflammatory.
So it's not about vanity, like I want to be slimmer. It's like
No.
this is dangerous.
It's visceral fat is the fat that's around your organ. That's the bad fat. And inflammation lives in fat cells. So you can't get to it. So that's key.
So if I'm a marathon runner, let's just say I run, I exercise, and I think, are they in danger of any kind if their body stays inflamed because they're overexerting themselves?
So a lot of times people think athletes are healthy, or you see the football players, and well, there's such thing as you can work out too much.
That's what I was
So
wondering.
for each individual, it's different. And there's also the thing called skinny fat. You'll see someone, they look very healthy because they're skinny, but if you do a body composition, their visceral fat is high. They're skinny fat. So the danger is still there. We have things out here now, body composition things, so you can get individualized. We have testing that you can do that will be pertaining to you individually to know what's
And
going
we
on.
are individuals.
Correct.
Still ahead, think melatonin is a quick fix for sleep?
Melatonin is not a sleeping pill. Melatonin is a circadian cue of darkness. It lets our body know when the sun has gone down.
We'll share when it can help, when to avoid it, and general dosing guidance you can use. But first, the right shoes could help you take steady steps.
Your shoes are your foundation. Your feet are your foundation.
We'll show you what to look for in good support and when it's time to replace worn out shoes.
Style may guide your choice for shoes, but pick the wrong pair and it can affect your balance, stride, and even increase your risk of falls. Over time, our feet can change, so the way you shop for shoes may need to change too. Sam, what are the biggest signs someone's shoes are no longer supporting them, and what should they look for in a safer, more supportive pair?
Well, let's first off establish this. There's two things you're never going to see me on. Roller skates and stilettos. It's not happening. Your shoes are your foundation. Your feet are your foundation. We don't need people out there falling. And so if you're somebody that can walk in a heel and you can safely walk in a heel, by all means, continue to do that. Understand what you're doing to your Achilles could be shrinking it, and it could be causing some long-term issues. But what's going to work for me is not going to work necessarily for you. And definitely, Amy, the shoe queen at the end here is not going to work for you. So I think safety is individualized, and so it has to be what's going to work for the person.
But your shoes are so stylish, but they look so practical also, and they look like they're balancing and they provide support. All the different things that we need to be looking for.
Well, true confession, I was told by a doctor you can either have pain or change the shoes you're wearing. So I did graduate down a bit,
Okay.
But what I'll say is it's important to be physically stable, but for some of us, we want to be emotionally stable.
Yeah.
And some of us are really affected by how we look, how we dress. It uplifts us. And yes, wide heels. I wear more wide heels. I wear wider shoes. I do not buy shoes in the morning because my feet swell, and so I wait till afternoon. And I don't like lace-ups because I don't want to work that hard.
Okay.
So kind of think of yourself, if you're more of a lazy person, you don't wear you wear efficient makeup and efficient shoes.
I was injured badly in a car accident 2 decades ago, and I wore very clunky, like grandma shoes for a long time because that was very much needed. And over time, I went to flats and things that were a little cuter. And now I'm healthier, lighter on my feet, so I'm back in heels sometimes, but very particular and very sturdy. And another thing today is the platform shoes that are really popular with young people. So I ordered a pair, and I'm like, whoa, these are dangerous. It's like whatever it takes to try to avoid injury. That's what I'm very concerned about. Is I don't want to fall. I've been injured plenty, and I want to avoid it.
So some of those platform shoes, when they first came out, that they look really high, but because of that platform from the base, they're really not that high when you're walking. So they're actually very comfortable. I can't walk in a stiletto heel or a heel. I'm wobbly. So I don't have balance, but so I need that wide heel. But some people are very good at it.
Yeah, what's
some
going to keep
people
you
are incredible.
safe?
Now, I mentioned it earlier. The Achilles is actually something that we need to think about as we're aging. So I've seen it a lot of times with ladies who wore heels most of their career, and that Achilles shrinks, and then we end up with what we call a drop foot. So the toes point down, and that actually can cause a lot of falls and tripping. So it is something to think about as you're aging and making sure no matter what, you're stretching that out so that it doesn't shrink.
And the other thing I think about too is podiatrist. Go to your podiatrist, work with them to get the right shoe, and then you can find others that will get you the right store.
Right.
Maybe the podiatrist will, but maybe they won't.
And there's running stores, and there's other stores too where they can educate you so that you can get good shoes. And they also sometimes will teach you how to shop for shoes online or at the mall.
Coming up, after 8 months inside, he found a way out, one piece at a time.
I built all this stuff with my finger, my thumb, and my mouth.
We'll show you how he rebuilt his life with Legos and what his story can teach us about resetting when life feels impossible. But first, is melatonin helping your sleep or hurting it?
A little bit of melatonin, and I'd like to emphasize a little bit. We're talking about just a milligram here. A couple of hours before bed is just fantastic for an individual who has a circadian rhythm delay.
We'll explain who should take it, who should skip it, and how to use it safely.
Welcome back. Melatonin is a popular sleep supplement, but it's not a sedative. It's a hormone your brain makes to signal darkness and help set your body's sleep clock. Medical reporter Viv Williams breaks down who it can help and when it can make sleep worse.
The Sleep Foundation says that melatonin is the most popular sleep aid in the U.S. Some people may think that the supplement is a sedative. That is a myth.
Melatonin is not a sleeping pill. Melatonin is a circadian cue of darkness. It lets our body know when the sun has gone down.
Dr. Michael Howell, a University of Minnesota neurologist and sleep specialist, says melatonin is a hormone produced in your brain that helps regulate circadian rhythm by cueing your body to prepare for sleep.
So not only should you be naturally getting sleepy, your body temperature should be coming down, your gut should also be slowing down, quieting down, and your body should be getting ready for sleep. That's what melatonin does.
Howell says melatonin supplements can work well for people who tend to be night owls, people who stay up late and get up late.
A little bit of melatonin, and I'd like to emphasize a little bit. We're talking about just a milligram here. A couple of hours before bed is just fantastic for an individual who has a circadian rhythm delay because it can help pull that rhythm earlier, and over time, over a few days, make it easier to fall asleep earlier and, just as importantly, wake up earlier.
But if you're an early bird, the type who crashes in the evening by 8 p.m. and is wide awake by 3 or 4 a.m., Hal recommends avoiding melatonin.
If that person takes melatonin, you're only going to make your problem worse.
Howell says it'll make you want to go to bed even earlier and you'll have trouble sleeping through the night. In addition to melatonin, Howell says other tips that may help both night owls and early birds fall asleep include limiting caffeine and alcohol, avoiding nicotine, avoiding big evening meals, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, and waking up at the same time every morning. With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
Well, that was a good explanation. What would you add to that?
I think on the surface, what people don't realize is that melatonin actually comes from serotonin. And 90% of the serotonin is made in the gut. But that serotonin does not cross the blood-brain barrier. So how do we get this serotonin in the brain? It's from an amino acid that's essential that you get from your diet called L-tryptophan. So L-tryptophan, a small amount, crosses the blood-brain barrier, It gets there and it's converted into serotonin, and then serotonin converts into melatonin.
Okay. Is this why turkey makes us
I was going to
tired?
say that.
I know.
But it is.
I know.
But there's a catch to it. The melatonin feeds back into the gut. You see what he said. But if you're stressed or inflamed, you don't make serotonin. The tryptophan makes another enzyme called kynurenolic acid, and that's inflammatory. So now you're not making melatonin. That might be why you can't go to sleep when you're stressed. You go to a different pro-inflammatory pathway.
Right.
Everything changes.
Right. What I like about this episode is the importance of sleep. Like how important sleep is. Waking up the same time every day. I remember when my schedule changed and I was waking up later and later, and I ended up feeling worse and worse.
Right.
It had a
harder
negative.
for
It was
shifters,
harder.
people
It
who
harder.
work at night and all that, that's
Exactly.
really
So I
hard.
started getting up at the same time, generally in the morning, and it made all the difference in the world.
One of the things about melatonin is and the studies I've read are not use it for children.
All right, yeah.
And unfortunately, we do see parents that will put it on board not knowing those studies.
yeah.
And so I always want to, kind of remind people because it's not healthy to use this with their kids to help them
Well,
sleep.
I think
not as a long
If
term.
you ever talk to someone who's a functional pediatrician and all that, and it's compound and all that, there are some different variations. So I think you should really seek out someone, like that, because the one size does not fit all.
Right.
But melatonin also has a whole bunch of other medical benefits people don't realize. Anti-cancer, depression. I mean, they look at it with another compound called methylene blue. There's a lot of health benefits.
He woke up sideways and refused to stay down.
It's taken a while for the peace to come.
We'll show you how one man is rebuilding his life one Lego at a time, and how a shift in perspective can help you push through your toughest days.
Sometimes life can turn sideways in an instant. For Mingo Graham, a motorcycle crash left him paralyzed and living at a different angle, physically and mentally. But instead of shutting down, he started building back. Here's Dave Allgood in Anchorage, Alaska, with his inspiring story.
Sometimes life can get a little sideways.
I wake up, today I woke up like this sideways because I'm always sideways.
And we all say life is about perspective.
My whole perspective was my chair was on the floor, which is on the wall.
But for Mingo Graham,
Well, my brain lives on the side now.
Yeah.
It doesn't live in its normal spot anymore.
how he got this way started out as a mystery.
I don't know what happened. I woke up a few months later from my coma at Stanford University.
But his reality snapped
I actually have more trouble putting bricks together by hand than by mouth.
back into place. He was on his motorcycle 10 years ago,
I hit a phone pole doing 110 miles an hour.
breaking his C6 vertebrae, leaving him paralyzed below the waist and frozen in this position.
They're slammed shut and I'm twisted.
Now his life is locked in place. And that life can be a bit of a struggle.
I don't really want to talk about that.
After arriving here at the rehab home here in Anchorage, he didn't come out of his room for,
8 months.
but when he did,
Of course, everybody shows up when I come through.
he pieced together a new life, one brick at a time.
I built all this stuff with my finger, my thumb, and my mouth.
With only a finger, a thumb, and his mouth, Mingo built all of this. The Millennium Falcon.
Perfect.
Just look at all these creations, a tiger, Iron Man, praying mantis, these flowers, lots of fast cars, a robot, and a transformer.
Sometimes I will work on a technical part for hours.
And believe it or not, his first Lego build was
That Harley is my first build up there with Groot.
just like the motorcycle he was riding that night.
It's taken a while for the peace to come.
The patience of piecing a life back together.
They give me motivation when I'm unmotivated.
Life is a galaxy of whys and a tsunami of what ifs.
And you want to talk about life, you're alive still.
And like Legos, building back a life for Mingo,
This is what you got to do when you're by yourself. You get your grabber and you get your pieces off the floor.
Is picking up the pieces and trying to find just the right fit.
People are always blown away by my attitude and positivity. It's
So sideways is a perspective that Mingo has leaned into to get it right.
goodbye, everybody. Nice meeting you.
It made me want to cry.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me want to cry. But then to see the strength that he had, and he tells you, I had some issues. 8 months I didn't come out.
Right.
But he's retraining his brain to retrain his life and saying, hey, this is my worth. This is my purpose.
Yeah.
I love how calmly he said it took me a while to find my peace. And I thought, putting those Legos together, I know if I'm having a bad day, I'm just like in my head all day, that feeling of rolling, and what purpose it would be to have something like that to get out of yourself to do. And so it's like you get a break from your brain.
I like to put puzzles together.
Yeah.
I'm a puzzle builder, so I like to keep a puzzle out, and when I'm stressed, I will go work on a puzzle.
Yeah.
Because it's just that problem solving and doing that, and he's doing the same thing.
Well, he reminded me that what I thought was a problem ain't really a problem.
Yeah, right? Isn't it amazing how small our problems become when we really see people that are struggling with and overcoming what life's thrown at them?
Yeah, there's that saying that you're either moving forward or going backward, and you would need something to be working on to keep that momentum going, to keep moving forward.
It is amazing what people do.
Yeah, it is.
We're all getting older, so it's about time we talk about it. Until next time on Aging Untold.
On the next Aging Untold, double duty, raising kids while caring for aging parents.
Because there's nothing easy, and there's no give and take in this.
We'll unpack what it takes to juggle both and share some coping strategies.